Good morning, respected Principal, Sister Tanuja Wagmare, and our resource person for the day, Dr. Sunil Rajpurkar. A warm welcome to all the participants also for this fifth day of our 5-day workshop on preparing for MH-TET 2021. Let us thank God for this brand new day and for this fifth day of our workshop. When we look around in today's time, we see that there are many incidences happening around us which are very painful and which indicate that people are losing their moral values, their ethics, and their humanity too. And in this world today, we see that there is a great need for human values. It's very necessary to be a good human being, which people are forgetting at cost of other things. Today, let us purely pray for all the human beings that they should behave as a human, as a good human being, and they also should treat others as human beings. And such incidences, which are very disturbing, should not happen. All the weaker sections of the society should be protected well. There should be unity and no division on the basis of any aspects. Let us today just pray that all the human beings get this strength to convert themselves in good human beings with solid moral values and ethical principles. We'll just play a short hymn which will give us message for this day. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Audible too?
Yes, ma'am.
हीच मुची प्रार्थनान हेच मुचे मागणी हीच मुची प्रार्थनान हेच मुचे मागणी माणसाने माणसाशी माणसा समवागणे धर्म जाती प्रांत भाषा द्वेष सारे संपुदे एक निष्ठा एक आशा एक रंगी रंगोली
With this small prayer, let us start this day 5 of our workshop on MH-TET 2021. Before we introduce our speaker for the day, I request Sister Tanuja to say a few words.
Thank you, Cinderella. So, good morning, dear friends, and a very
You're on
warm
mute.
welcome. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. So, good morning, dear friends, and a warm welcome to this session. We already have blessings of grace and peace with us, and Dr. Cinderella has put us into a very good mood of this beautiful day that God has blessed us with. And here we welcome none other than our own Dr. Sunil Rajapurkar into our midst for today as our resource person. Dr. Sunil, we are really very grateful to you and we thank you for accepting our invitation. I also thank Dr. Sheila Philip, our very own professor who is with us for this session for today. Thank you, Dr. Sheila, for being with us. And I also thank Dr. Cinderella for doing the needful for this session and for hosting this session for STIE. And my dear participants, let's remember that the sea is same for all, SEA. But some find pearls, some find fishes, some just find their feet wet. Life is common for all, but we can only get what we try for. So here we are all for this session, trying to achieve something in life. I pray that each one of us will be blessed with all the graces that we need. So stay happy, stay safe, enjoy the session, learn something new, and let's be grateful to God, our Almighty Father. So once again, thank you, Sir Dr. Sunil Rajapurkar, for being in our midst. Thank you, Dr. Sheila too, and thank you, Dr. Cinderella too. Have a nice day, have a nice session. Over to you, Cinderella.
Thank you, sister. Thank you for your warm words. Sunil sir, should we proceed now with the introduction of yours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning, Sheila madam. Hi.
Good morning, Sunil. Lovely to see you here and feel very good to be here with Sister Tanuja, Cinderella, and you. And of course,
Same
all our
here.
participants who
Same
add
here.
meaning and essence to this program.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Richa, you can continue.
Okay, ma'am, thank you. A very good morning to everyone present here. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome and introduce our esteemed speaker of the day, Dr. Sunil Rajpurkar. Dr. Sunil Ashok Rajpurkar, a secular rationalist and a passionate science educator, has been associated with Teacher Education of India for the past 17 years. He has completed his master's in chemistry, MEd, and PhD in education. Presently, he teaches sociology of education, gender, school and society, knowledge and curriculum, pedagogy of teaching science, and environmental education at Srimati Kapila Khandwala College of Education in Mumbai. He has been a member of syllabus framing committee for the 2-year B.Ed program as well as the 4-year integrated BSc B.Ed and BCom B.Ed programs of the University of Mumbai. His research expertise is in the area of moral psychology, secular values, and scientific temper. His doctoral thesis was based on Professor Lauren Kohlberg's cognitive moral development model to develop secular values and scientific temper among school students through moral dilemma stories. He has been promoting scientific temper and secular values through his multilingual eloquence and value development programs conducted for school students and teachers for the past several years. He has been the University Merit Rank holder for B.Ed and M.Ed degree examinations of University of Mumbai held in the year 2003 and 2004 respectively. Dr. Ashok's personal qualities include musical intelligence, creative craftsmanship, and voracious readership. He carries deep passion for literature, owning more than 1,000 books in his personal library, covering a wide subject area including fundamental science, literature, history, anthropology, psychology, comparative religion, education, environment, and so on. He is a consistent writer and enjoys penning down academic reflections and human experiences through subtle write ups, poems, or shairis in Hindi, Marathi, and English. He is also an author of a Marathi reference book, Sadharniya Paryavaran Vyavasthapan, that is, Sustainable Environmental Management, published by Himalaya Publishing House in 2012. We welcome you, sir, to our event.
Thank you so much, Richa, for this elaborate introduction and no giving honor to me no by completely reading out the entire CV doesn't matter. All right. So thank you so much, Sister Tanuja. Thank you, Sheila Madam, and thanks to Cinderella for no, having me here, inviting me here, and to interact with no, all these new no, team of teachers who are going to appear for no, the Maharashtra Teachers Eligibility Test. All right. So, with your permission, shall we begin? All
Yes,
right,
over
because
to
we
you,
have a
Kiran.
very less time probably and a lot of things to be done. All right, so at the outset, I first welcome you all, uh, congratulate you all for no making an entry into teachers teaching profession, and I'm sure that all of you must have already starting preparing for teachers eligibility test, and a couple of sessions are already happened. And today's session we are basically devoting to the content based on science. And as you have started preparing for Maharashtra TET, you must have realized that the content is too huge. And it is covering right from the primary level, elementary level to even the higher secondary level. Although you are familiar with the two papers that are there, and in my today's presentation, we are going to have exercises based on both environmental studies as well as no, the paper two, which focuses on general science. But although the test items are based more upon the physics, chemistry, and biology content. Uh, at the very beginning, very humbly, I should say that no, I cannot claim that I know everything. Rather, you are the practicing content teachers, so you must be knowing no, much better than us because Cinderella madam or Sheila madam or myself, we are into the pedagogy of teaching. But I take no, my role as a facilitator for this entire no, the preparation for TET program and the TET examination. So therefore, I will begin no, talking about how can we prepare no, for a content which is so voluminous, which is so immense. About that, certain tips related to that, and then I have exercise no, for both paper one as well as paper two. We are not here to brush up the entire content because it is too huge and too voluminous. However, as and when we are moving across the test items, no, wherever it is possible, we will try to no, have a kind of a no, the touching upon the content as well wherever it is possible. Uh, I would urge all of you, each one of you, to have a notepad and a pen because in between when we are moving, I would expect that each one of you individually take this. Around 100 no, test items I have included in my presentation, and as and when we are moving across, no, you can interact, you can answer, but I would want all of you to note down in your notepad probably. Okay, because on an online setup, what happens when somebody answers, then the others probably may not get that time to know to think and answer. So therefore, I would request all of you to note down item wise your answer probably, and when the answer is displayed, and you can score it. And so we'll see towards the end how much score are you all getting. No, based on the exercise that we have in our today's session. Uh, Let me share my presentation and we shall begin. I hope the presentation is visible to you all.
Yes, yes,
All
yes.
right. Okay. All right. So this is a brief display of no, science is covered in two papers. Paper 1, section 5, where we have environmental studies covering the topics in science from standard first to standard fifth that you all are aware of. And there are in all 30 MCQs which are based on the lower primary content. However, the difficulty level is that of the higher secondary. All right. So basically, we are preparing content even for environmental studies up to standard 12th. No, the questions which are asked no, in this particular section are based on history, civics, geography, general science, and environment. But I have been told that we already had other sessions for other subject areas, especially social sciences also. So I have picked up certain topics or the certain test items, which will address general science and environment and a little bit of geography probably. All right, so I'm not going to touch upon history, civics content in my presentation. All right. So we are preparing for these 30 MCQs in paper 1, and those who are going for the higher level, the paper 2, that is upper primary. Again, we know that in the paper 2, section 4A, you have a choice. No, those who are going for social studies and those who are going for mathematics and science. And under that, you know that we have 60 questions, out of which 30 are devoted to mathematics and the 30 are for science. Now, here this is based on the fundamental knowledge and the problem solving ability of the teacher, and which covers the various branches, the fundamental branches of science, including physics, chemistry, and biology. And the question number 121 to 150, these 30 questions are basically, sometimes the questions can be shuffled up or there can be a sequence followed. The 10 questions of physics, 10 questions of chemistry, and 10 questions on biology. That way it can be asked. And if you look at the content, you all must have gone through it. No, it is so immense and so huge. All right, so right from no, the third standard level to the 10th standard level, and sometimes even certain concepts that can be touched upon to even higher secondary 11th and 12th standard level. So therefore, no, it is a huge task for the teachers also to prepare this content. So I just would like to touch upon no, any competitive examination is based on MCQs. And you know that the different types of knowledge, you, in philosophy, probably those who have done B.Ed or D.Ed, they might be familiar with this. I just want to draw your attention to this for the simple reason, when we are preparing, no, I'm going to display certain no, the learning techniques also, or the strategies rather, and that's why I have taken this particular slide over here, just to understand the types of knowledge, because accordingly the preparation should be focused. As we know that most of the competitive examinations, they pay attention to more of the factual information or the factual knowledge, and factual knowledge has to be told and it has to be learned, by reading and revision. So therefore a lot of drill, reading and practice is needed for the factual knowledge. uh, and we know that there are a lot of the scientific facts, because the questions are also based on a lot of facts in these competitive examination or the eligibility examination, and there is no other way out but we have to read the content a lot. No, then only we'll be prepared for that. Then we have conceptual knowledge as well. And we know that there are concepts in science, no, which are not simply to be recalled, but we have to go to the understanding level. And so therefore there are certain techniques or the tips no, which will help us to, it is not only the reading that will help us, but we have to have a clear or a clarity no, upon the concepts. And no, in the TET or these competitive examinations, there are certain questions which are also based on conceptual knowledge. I'm again demarking the factual knowledge as simply the simple facts, and know that we should know. Then only we should be able to answer the questions. But the conceptual knowledge, there are certain questions which are also asked on the concepts or the conceptual knowledge. Procedural knowledge refers to the steps or the processes or the methods. And no, I have come across that there are very little questions on procedural knowledge, but no, of late I have seen that the recent test items, because so much of focus is on no outcome-based education nowadays. When you will become teachers, you also will be focusing on the outcome, no, rather than simply the teacher's objective. And therefore a lot of questions nowadays are included upon the procedural knowledge, which goes to the little higher level. All right, so therefore procedural knowledge, simply reading will not help you, but you have to have the practice, you have to have no organization of the knowledge that you are receiving. I'm referring to science knowledge over here. I have the next slide when we'll talk about no, how you can work upon it. And the fourth, that is metacognitive knowledge. Generally, the questions are not asked on metacognitive knowledge because it is referring to how you remember, how you study, how you organize your knowledge. It is knowing about your knowledge, how you receive and you organize your knowledge. Generally, the questions are not asked, but still, I have included this particular type of knowledge over here for the simple reason each one of you is unique, and you have to find out your own way of remembering the things, because again the preparation is huge and immense. So therefore you have to find out your own way of learning and your own way of remembering, because it is a content test. I have come across that a very little questions in TET examination also no, asked upon the pedagogical knowledge. There are very few questions, whereas the major focus is given on the content knowledge only, and a lot of questions are based on the factual information, factual knowledge, and to certain extent conceptual knowledge is also there, and the procedural knowledge, the test items are also involved. So therefore here are some of the techniques that you can work upon while preparing no, for any kind of eligibility test or for science, or precisely right now Maharashtra state teachers eligibility test. So when we are talking about factual knowledge, as I said, unless you read, unless you have the information, you really cannot answer that, because there is no thinking which is involved. It is a recall or recognition probably. So therefore what I would suggest, we have textbooks, we have content with us, and science content is huge and immense. So therefore reading is the only way. You have to read a lot, the content has to be read, so that you can know, come across certain facts, certain terms, know the certain facts related to the names, or maybe principles, or maybe certain events, and the names of scientists, etc. So therefore, no, for factual knowledge, the strategy which can be used for content preparation could be reading, skimming, because as I am again and again emphasizing that the content is huge, sometimes no, we have to read at a no, a faster pace, which refers to skimming, so that no, the highlighted no, the terms, etc., can draw our attention to. And a lot of drill and practice is needed. No, to answer the questions pertaining to factual knowledge, we have to have drill and practice or memory games. And that is why I have taken the previous question sets. I cannot guarantee that these questions will be asked or no, the similar, but it will draw our attention to what kind of questions are asked. And so therefore it will no, direct our reading habits also in a way that I have to pay attention to reading these kind of facts, scientific facts probably, because such kind of facts are asked in no, TET examination. So this is referring to factual knowledge, as I have emphasizing again and again that a lot of questions are based on factual knowledge. For conceptual knowledge, what we can do as it goes to the higher level, first of all, we have to clarify the concepts. No, if our concepts are not clear, there are scientific concepts, there are scientific principles, rules, etc. A lot of no, whether it is chemistry, biology, physics, etc. So therefore, no, you can use variety of learning strategies or the techniques like no, concept mapping. I would suggest when you are also preparing for your examination, and when you are reading the content or a specific portion of the content, you know, have a habit of sitting with pen and a notepad, and you know, draw a kind of a map or a hierarchy no, with yeah, those who are doing B.Ed, they have already learned about how to prepare a concept map and know the major concept and the emerging concepts out of it, and no, maybe the know what is the connection between. You can use different know the terms or the connecting terminologies. Know how the concepts are related. You can also illustrate. No, illustration can be verbal or non-verbal. Okay, with the help of examples, the verbal examples, know certain keywords you can put down, or even with the help of pictures or the drawings also you can do. So no, this way you can work on the conceptual knowledge. No, the concept mapping will be very helpful if no, if you when you are preparing for the content related to that, whether it is biology, whether it is chemistry, no, right from the top to no, the bottom of when you are reading the content, different chapters, you can prepare that. It will be helpful. The procedural knowledge will focus on, as I said, methods, uh, the steps. So listing down the steps, sequencing or the flow charts or pictorial illustrations will be helpful. We have a lot of processes in science, biological processes, physiological processes. In chemistry, we have no the certain reactions. There are reaction conditions. There are methods, variety of methods. No, in all different branches of science, and so therefore it is not only the mere factual information, but it is going into the sequencing of steps. Even when we have the solution of problems, no, where we have to follow the particular steps. So therefore, no, the sequence and the listing down the steps will help you out when you are preparing for the content pertaining to no, the methods and the processes. So this will help you out. A lot of writing work is needed when you are preparing for competitive exams. And as I said, questions are not there on the metacognitive knowledge probably. However, this is for your own self when you are preparing. So have a habit of notes taking. I am assuming right now also when we will have no, the exercises. So that time also, no, in between wherever is possible and wherever it is needed, I will draw your attention to know the certain know the topics that you have to prepare these topics. You have to have information related to this, then no, you can note it down. Reading aloud, thinking aloud. No, everybody sometimes somebody can prepare no for the examination. Probably reading aloud because you are using a multisensory no the learning technique over there when you are reading visually as well as when you are listening to it. Concept mapping also again no some people they are good at concept mapping no, and they remember the knowledge and the recalling process becomes easier because they can visualize. Some of you might be good at that they can actually have a screenshot of what they have penned down, or somebody can be good at simply when they are reading no they can visualize the content page in the textbook as it is. Another metacognitive the strategy which will be useful for remembering, that will be mnemonics, and you know that a number, and you can formulate your own mnemonics. For example, generally there are certain very weird names, especially in biology, and you cannot remember those names. You can formulate the mnemonics or a periodic table. Where you can have certain ready mnemonics are available. I'm not going into the details of that, but you can formulate your own mnemonics, or you can use the ready available mnemonics for the same. And of course, revision and review is must and very essential when we are preparing for such kind of examinations. So this was about the type of questions and which will test your knowledge, the different levels of knowledge, and how you can prepare for that knowledge. And now we shall begin with, it is already 10, so 1.5 hours which we have. I think all of you are ready. I will just keep my chat box open. You can also answer in the chat. All right, but I would appreciate, because when we have interaction related, I'm going to ask you question to reason out your answer when we are taking the exercises. So you can unmute and you can answer. And as I have suggested, and I'm again reminding that sequentially you can note down your response, and you can start scoring it also one by one. So I have exercise on paper one, around 40 questions I have listed down in environmental studies, which will be coming in the paper one. And as and when we are moving across, we will try to have no clarity upon certain topics as well as content wherever it is possible. So 40 questions over here, and when we will have exercises on paper two, uh, chemistry, physics, as well as biology, I have 20 each items listed down. And again, the content is very huge. We really cannot complete each and everything, but still I have seen to it that we have included certain kind of no, very prominent topics that we need to prepare for TVT. All right, so I'll draw your attention to that, and you can note it down. And there also, so around 100 questions we have. Uh, Shall we start now? Arena, you have any doubt? Shall we begin?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Uh, so, dear teachers, these are the topics. You already have got the content, the prescribed syllabus for the TET. But looking at the test items in the previous TET papers, I have listed down certain topics. Similarly, I will display. You can take a screenshot if you wish. Uh, Listed down certain topics that repeatedly certain the topics they have the questions asked in the TET examination, uh, and the level is little lower level in the paper one, but sometimes the questions are really very tricky. And as I have said, no, a lot of questions are based on the factual information. So the reading and practicing the question sets, especially for this paper one, will be the only solution. So these are the topics like biodiversity, factors of environment, living, non-living, food, diet, nutrition, changes, physical, chemical, natural resources, including air, water, soil, minerals, their properties, uses, applications, certain geographical concepts and phenomena, which comes even under environmental studies. Of course, human body, a lot of questions are based on organs, organ systems, especially on teeth and bones and physiological process. So I will draw your attention to that also when we are taking exercises. Similarly, health and diseases. Repeatedly questions are asked on the different types of diseases, the symptoms, the deficiency diseases, remedies, etc. So no, we can prepare upon that. Similarly, agriculture and the allied occupations, basic concepts in the environmental studies like environment, ecosystem, trophic levels, food pyramid, etc. A lot of questions are based on the concepts. The conceptual level questions are based on these topics. Similarly, human evolution and solar system. All right. So you can, when you are preparing for this, you can concentrate on these topics. Let us move across now to the test, and no, around 40 questions I have, and I want your response. You can note down your answer, and you can use chat box also, but see to it that you are giving time to others also to think, read and note down their response, and then we can come back. So which of the following diet will a doctor advise a patient suffering from redness of the tongue and roughness of the skin? Somebody who has done can post a message and score it.
Are we supposed to answer, Sunil?
Yes.
Are we supposed to answer? Yeah, are we supposed to give the response as the answer?
Y- uh, yes.
So one.
But but as I said that it is an individual exercise, and I'm going to come back to individual scores towards the end probably when we will complete the entire no the exercise. So therefore, a little bit time I'm expecting that each one should take and note it down in their notebook, and then they can answer over here,
Done. Done.
so that everybody will have an opportunity to answer it. All right. Angela has answered correctly. Angela, will you unmute and give reasoning for this particular answer? 4 is the correct response. Quickly, we have a lot of question sets.
Actually, I saw that papaya milk is good at skin and all. So that's what, and leafy vegetable also is good. So I made a judgment with this.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Angela. So see here how the metacognitive knowledge is helping out. Probably she is just using the kind of no a common sense, and accordingly she is answering. She is not relying upon maybe the no the factual knowledge or conceptual knowledge, but it is right because this is basically no the symptoms which are associated with the deficiency of vitamin B12. And no, these are the leafy vegetables, ripe yellow fruits, carrots, papaya, etc. These are the kind of no remediations for no fulfilling the requirements of vitamin B12. So that's why that is the, so this could be the reasoning for this this particular answer. However, Angela also has made no a correct guess following a different kind of a strategy. So we are coming across how metacognitive no a kind of a learning also is helpful. All right, let's move ahead. So I'm drawing your attention what kind of questions can be asked on vitamin deficiency. Let's move on to the next question. We also have to remember that the time duration is 150 minutes for 150 MCQs. So therefore, we hardly have a 1 minute to answer. And no, so therefore, there are a number of questions probably no we are not certain about or we are not sure about. No, in that case, we should not spend unnecessarily time, especially when we'll come across physics, chemistry, and biology related questions, and we are really not thorough with the content. So instead of no spending time over there, we can no come back to it because we have a time limitation. All right, anybody? We have answers 3, 2, which are answered over here. See, sometimes the question becomes tricky. The correct answer is 1. Anybody? The reasoning for this? Sheila madam?
Yes, can you hear me? Yeah,
Yes.
ostrich has a shorter lifespan as compared to the elephant. The elephants can live up to 60 to 70 years.
Yes.
But and when you start it in the you're saying in the decreasing order, so you start off with housefly, dog, ostrich, elephant. No, these animals are second.
Yeah, sometimes we are caught up. Yes, you are correctly no answering Sheila madam, but we are caught up in the term decreasing. Here it is not increasing because we have no a kind of a thinking always we no arrange it in the ascending order. Right?
Yes, it has to start with elephant, ostrich, dog, housefly. So
Yes,
ostrich.
yes, of course. So therefore, sometimes the questions are very simple, no, but we no miss out the important keywords, no, the terms, no, which are placed in the question. And no, while like here the arrangement is decreasing order. So obviously, as Sheila Madam said, elephant is living no a more number of years. Then comes ostrich, then dog, and then housefly. So obviously, the second in this arrangement will be ostrich. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So those who have got it correct, they can score it with 1 mark. Now, this item is related to the agricultural activities and the allied occupations. You can note down answer in your notebook, score it when the answer is displayed. But anybody who has attempted, because we have a number of exercises. Okay, Rohini has answered correctly. Rohini, your explanation for this?
Ladybird helps in pest control.
All right, okay. No, lady, this beetles you must have seen the red colored insect, no, which is there, and basically, even during rainy seasons you must have seen. No, it is not seen over here probably. Those who have no kind of experience in their rural areas, they must have seen it, and so therefore it is used in biological control. Now, since no, we have other sometimes no comparison with, if you really are not sure with the answer, but the comparison with the other options also helps you out. No, do you have any idea related to the other? Insect keeping is very simple. Any example of a insect keeping?
Beekeeping.
All right, okay. Beekeeping is one example. What is sericulture and apiculture?
Sericulture is silkworms,
Yes, okay. Rearing silkworms, so that we are familiar with. And apiculture?
honeybees.
Yes, honeybees. Yes, beekeeping is nothing but apiculture. All right. So therefore, these are no responses or alternatives are probably irrelevant over there. All right. So therefore, no, even if somebody can think the otherwise, no, if they are not very clear with no, what is ladybirds or beetles, no, still they can make an attempt by comparison of no, the other kind of responses. So always also look at that. Uh, no, have a kind of no a comparative plausibility of the responses and make your choice. All right, so I'm again drawing your attention to no, these the questions can also be asked on sericulture, apiculture, or the allied no, the occupations related to agriculture in the environmental studies. All right, those who have got it correct can score it. Let's move further. Somebody can post it, those who have got it. Okay, others can also note down. Variety of answers are coming, but Grenil has answered is it correctly. All right. Can you explain, Grenil, why answer is 220? Now, this is again factual knowledge related to our teeth and teeth pattern. Renil, can you unmute and explain the choice of your response? Others
So
also
I
answered.
am not
Yes.
very sure, but then we have these molars which are very much, I mean, they don't fall off. So that's why I assume
Okay.
that the pair of
Okay.
molars, excluding them, it's 20 that fall off, which are milk teeth.
Yes, you are very partially correct, Granny. Almost correct, as you said. No, that
Okay.
there are permanent teeth that we have, and those no, it makes it completely 32. However, the primary teeth that we have, they are 20. No, the milk teeth, as you have said. Okay, so these are the primary teeth which are 20 in numbers, and they fall off. And no, we can have the secondary teeth of this, and the other one are the permanent one, no, in the added food that we take, including, as you said. So I'm again drawing your attention to prepare the content on no, molar, premolar, anybody on the other examples, because quite often the questions are asked on teeth and their functions. Granil has already answered. We have some other questions later on also, but still I'm asking, list down.
Sunil,
Yes.
you're asking for the incisors, canines, is it?
Yes,
Huh?
yes. The different types of teeth that we have.
So
Yes,
you have 8 incisors, 4 canines,
yes,
premolars, and molars. These are
yes.
the
Thank you.
ones that first 20 that the children get as milk teeth.
Yes, thank you
Before
so much,
20.
Sheila, madam. Yes, so incisors or canine, premolar, and molar. And no, there are some questions later on its functions. We'll come across. All right. So we can prepare content on this as well. Let's move further. Those who have got it correct, they can score it. I think this one is the very simplistic one. Yes, I think almost all of you must have got it correct that brass is an alloy of metals, zinc, and copper. Very correct. Uh, can you give some more examples of alloys?
Stainless steel would be carbon and iron.
All right, very good. So here, what is the difference when we have stainless steel, zinc and copper, and carbon and iron, which defines what is an alloy? Yes,
Two
Parishita?
metals, two metals, and
Yes.
stainless steel is a metal and a non-metal.
All right. Okay. So it can also be a combination of a metal and a non-metal. All right. Very good. Okay. Any other example? Anybody? You can, because we have a no, a time limitation. I'm not spending time much over here just to revising that content. But yes, of course, we should know different alloys and the combination of metals, non-metals, to answer these questions. Let's move further. This is again simply, sometimes no, the questions are very simple that anybody can answer quickly.
Does it mean that there are several answers that are correct in this? No. Three.
All right. Thank you so much, Sheila, madam.
Sorry.
All right, no problem. I'm sure that everybody, because this is a
Yeah.
very simplistic information about microorganisms that we all have. So yes, that is the correct response. No, as we know that all bacteria, there are a lot of diseases which are caused by even bacteria. So therefore, all are not helpful or useful to us or human beings. Of course, so this will be a correct statement. So I'm not spending time here. Let's move on.
Sunil, I like this question. You know why? Because here you have to think. See, you probably know the right answer, but very often, we just run through it so quickly. So it is very important to sift. So very good question.
Exactly.
Simple, but it's a googly type of question, because all seems like you know it and you're difficult to pick out. So good question.
Yes, so sometimes no, in a hurry probably we can make mistakes. So therefore,
Yes.
reading. So this is no what we are underlining over here in any competitive examination, that even the factual simplistic question can be having a kind of a trick inside, and so therefore we have to read. So you just can't answer without reading the question or reading the responses. You have to read the each and every response completely and then only make a choice. No, that will be the wiser one. Okay, all right. Let's move further. Sorry. Yeah. We have to be a little quick now.
Yes, Sunil sir, actually we need to speed up a little bit. It's almost
Yes.
10:20. So if
Yes.
we wish to see more questions, we can go a little faster with answers.
Yes.
Sunil, also, here, what your answers are so good that they even can go by elimination. Sometimes you will
Yes.
not know the right answer, but some things you can kind of eliminate and pick up. Even when I look at it, it's not that sometimes we go by elimination and arrive at the right one.
Yes. Of course. Yes. So this is factual.
Which,
The
which is the
content
right answer,
that you have to
Sunil?
know.
Which is the
All
right
right.
answer?
Yeah. So
Graphite.
the correct answer is nickel.
Nickel. Okay.
Option one. All right, because it is not talking about just the steel. It is talking about the stainless steel. We know that the steel is an alloy of the carbon and iron. However, there are a lot of other metals like chromium and nickel are also added to no in making stainless steel, and chromium also as well as nickel, but chromium is not listed over here. So therefore, nickel generally it forms a kind of a thin film, no, and it gives a kind of a shiny surface to stainless steel. All right, okay. So let's move further. Now we will go a little faster here because I have no exercises on paper 2 as well. This is a very simplistic one. You can note it down. So the answer is 2, as we know it is very less. All right. Let's move further. This is again based on factual content. But as Sheila madam has suggested, you can eliminate other responses probably and come to a kind of a conclusive answer. If you compare the nutritional habits of each and every one, you come to know. So here the correct answer is 4, because we know snake is a carnivorous animal. Bat is an insectivorous one. Termite no thrives on cellulose, whereas the kite no they are generally, which comes from the family of aves. No, they are basically scavengers.
They
Let's
eat
go.
dead remains of things lying around to scavenge. Dead remains, kites.
Yeah. This is on atomic structure. Uh, yes, Brushel, the correct answer is 3, right? It is talking about the atomic weight. So therefore, it will be the combining protons as well as neutrons. You have to add up protons with neutrons. 13 plus 14 gives you 27. All right. Let's move on further. The correct answer is 4 because all gadgets can be run on solar cell. No, the electricity which can be generated. This one was a little bit simplistic one. This is a very fact-based question. If you have read somewhere, then only you can answer. Okay, Rohini has answered correctly. No, this is there in our SSC textbooks. If you have, no, if you have read thoroughly the text, there are a lot of factual information, which is given in our textbooks. So it is, no. So in the beginning, when I was talking about, no, organizing the content for the preparation of these kind of examination, you can list down these facts also, and no, as and when you are going through it, no, probably you can remember it. All right. So also, no, in the boxes also, which has certain things which may not be a direct part of your content, but it is highlighted in the textbooks that you can also refer to, because this fact is there in our textbook. All right. Let's move further. This is again a similar question. The correct answer is Nagpur. Answer 2. Some of you might be familiar with, in Pune there is Indian Institute of Science Education, and Mumbai we all know that Institute of Science is there. However, Nagpur there is a State Institute of Science Education. All right, so this is again a factual question. Let's move further. This is little tricky. For this, I would want answer from you. Are heterotrophs are producers in an ecosystem? Okay, all right. The correct answer is 3. Carnivorous animals are the secondary consumers. Okay, a lot of times, no, there is a jumbling between the trophic levels and the consumers. So the trophic levels, the first trophic level is producers, and the second trophic level is the starts from consumers. Like the primary consumers are herbivores, and the secondary consumers are carnivores. All right, and henceforth. So that refers to the trophic levels. So if you analyze the items over here, then other items doesn't make that sense. All right, whereas the carnivores occupying the as the secondary consumers makes sense. All right. Okay, let's move on further. I'm just drawing your attention that you also have to be clear about the trophic levels, and that you can prepare the content on that, because many questions sometimes are asked on this as well. Okay, this is based on pedagogical knowledge. The correct response will be 4, because we know in the concentric arrangement, always the simple, we go simple to complex, and the more details are added further, like, and we go to whole to part. So therefore, first it will be a holistic picture about the states of substances. Then we will go to maybe properties of the substances, then specific properties of the substances, and then maybe solids in detail. All right. This is the simplistic one. If you know the food components and what it provides, you can answer this. Okay, so the correct response is soybeans. Let me display the next one. Okay, this is related to the geographical knowledge. Okay, I think Rohini has answered it correctly. First, second, the earth rotates around itself from west to the east. That is the correct answer, and that is why it is called as the prograde rotation, and that's why all the other celestial bodies appear the other way around. Okay, because it is Earth's rotation is from west to west. All right. Okay. So the correct response is 2. You can score it. Next is there in front of you. Based on states of matter. This is rather tricky because only one statement is incorrect. And if you look at, there are a lot of differences which are already shown over there. All right. So obviously, second response will be the incorrect one. The characteristics of snow and ice are not same. They are different, and that's why the differences are pointed out over here. All right. So sometimes reading, no, because whether it is correct or incorrect, that has to be properly comprehended. Then only we can make a wise choice. All right. So answer number two is the correct one. Let's move further so that we can have more exercises and a coverage to the variety of content. Okay, for this, the correct response is 2, as Valita has answered. Yes. No, this is again little tricky, as I said, no, sometimes because rain, storm, earthquakes, and mountain, river, and ocean. But precisely when we are looking at geographical factors, mountain, river, and oceans are, no, very correctly, these are geographical factors. But if you look at rain, storm, and earthquakes, rain and storm can come, no, appear to come under physical factors. However, storm and earthquakes, we know that these are the kind of not physical factors, but these are the outcomes of the physical factors, right? So these are no disasters. So this answer number 2 is the correct one. Let's move further. Yeah, Rohini has answered correctly that the bitterness, the bitter taste buds are present at the back of the tongue. Kindly refer no this content related to this because questions no are quite often asked on this. I'm not I'm saving time over here that no where is the sweet taste or where is the no salty taste no which area of the tongue that those specific taste buds are present. You kindly no prepare the content on this as well. Yeah, again question on teeth. Sheila madam, will you explain this particular content? Yes, your answer is correct.
Because the molars, because the molars have more roots and four roots which go deeply are deeply embedded, and
Okay.
so it gives firmness for biting.
Yeah, and even we can compare which teeth are flat.
They are all relatively flat, the molars and premolars. Of course, they have this cuspal this thing, but otherwise the incisors are, if you call that flatter, thin like
The
edges.
flat ones are like the incisors as we know.
Okay,
Okay,
fine.
and
You
the
call it
yeah,
like
and
edges. Edges.
yes,
What I meant is the top surface. If you look, no, we can call the molars also flat, but the canines as pointed, and the incisors
yes,
as like sharp cutting edges.
yes, yes.
Depends.
All right. Thank you so much. So no, we have to have no the content preparation on these teeth. All right. So the correct answer is answered by Sheila madam. Let's move further. Here is a question on the modification of plant parts. Yes, Valita, it is correctly answered that it is a leaf modification. All right. So we can prepare even the content on the other kind of modification, root modification, stem modification. No, we all have learned it. So the question can be asked on those modifications as well. All right. So you can score it. Those who have got it correct. This is again a very general knowledge item. I hope everybody will get it correct. Yes, Reshma, very correct. The answer is one. Okay, we know that with the female, even if you don't look at the salivary glands, we know it is associated with the female anopheles. All right. Okay, so first one is the correct answer. Let's move further. This is again the simplistic one. Yes, very correct. Answer is three. We know that it is a type of a hinge no joint, right? This is an example of a hinge joint which no always have the movement in the one direction. Okay, so I'm not elaborating on the content related to bone and the types of joint, but the other types of joint also we should be aware of and prepare it. All right, so the question can be asked on such kind of content as well, bones and joints. Let's move ahead. Very simple question. So as we know that the stomata is the plant part which evaporates water, so that we can move ahead. This is again a simple question based on the fruitification and the seed type, simple fruit and composite fruit. Yes, the correct answer is 3 mango. Again, a question on the modification of plant parts. So sometimes the questions which are asked are very simple, especially in paper one. So we all know that this is a root modification. The correct answer is 2. Where is the humus found? The layers of soil. This is pertaining to the layers of soil. Yes, the correct answer is 2. We know that the humus is always found at the topmost layer of soil. So 2 is the correct response. Let's move further. Yes, Reshma answered very correctly. We know that the celestial bodies are the natural bodies, heavenly bodies, we also call it, which are the governed by the natural, the laws of physics. Here, INSAT is a projected body, with which is an artificial, the project, what do we say, the satellite. All right, so that will be the correct answer. Okay, correctly answered, Reshma. Let's move further. Related to the composition of air and pollution. No, Brushel, second will not be the correct answer, because nitrogen, which forms the no, the major part of the air, is not a pollutant. Even carbon dioxide no, is a part of the air pollution, because we know it has even a role to be played in greenhouse effects. I'm not going into the details of it, but nitrogen gas is the correct answer over here. Again, a question pertaining to the geographical facts, a little bit of science. Yes, correct. It is the exchange of the electric charge is responsible for the lightning. There is a spark, the no, the lightning which we see. It is because of that. So the correct answer is 4. Question based on simplistic processes, physical processes. It is simple one, as we know that the correct answer is evaporation 2. Anybody can elaborate on the other processes? Maybe condensation and sublimation, what happens in these two processes? Uh, any teacher can answer, because a lot of questions are based on these processes. Yes, Manish, would you like to answer? Anybody?
Sublimation is a process where solids the product changes from solid state to gaseous state directly.
Okay, or otherwise also,
Yeah.
right? So there is a skipping of one state in between, no, directly from vapors to no, a solid, or maybe from no, that what happens in the, or solid to vapors, sublimation. Condensation,
Liquid, I mean, vapors are turned directly into the liquid state.
all right, okay. Okay, so the temperature is brought down or the heat is reduced, and from liquid it gets condensed to solid, or maybe a vapors to liquid. All right, because the vapors are present, that can be condensed to no, the liquid. So Sheila madam, would you like to answer, say
No,
something?
I was just going to say that condensation is when something comes in contact with a cold surface, whether it is water
Yes,
vapor in contact with a cold surface. But the
yes,
googly here is between evaporation and condensation. So,
yes,
I like this answer because, these are portions where we can think. Very
yes.
good question.
All right. Okay, so let's move further. So here the correct answer is 2. No, the movement of moon around the earth is responsible for the change in the shape. All right. So I'm not elaborating here. We'll move on further. You can keep on scoring yourself. I know that I'm not giving a lot of time for thinking process probably over here. I just want to draw your attention to the content so that you can prepare the content based on these kind of questions. Because repetitively you come across there are certain the test items are based on a specific kind of content. This is based on simple machines. And it is not simplistic one, but the correct answer is 1, making pulley, because we know in pulley wheel is used. Next one, 35. Instantly you can note down your answer probably, because you know that moon is closest to earth. The correct answer is 2. We already had an earlier question related to these state change processes. But this is again a tricky question. Okay, Sheila madam has thought about it and answered correctly. It is vaporization and not evaporation. Uh, what is the difference between the two?
In evaporation, we actually supply heat, and when liquid changes into vapors. And in vaporization, it can be even through the heat of the sun, wind, and it moves from one state to the other
Sheila
without
madam, I think you have answered exactly the other way around.
opposite, huh? Okay.
Yes, the
In
evaporation.
in vaporization, it is due to the external sources. I mean, without the
Yes,
actual application of heat. Yes.
yeah. And evaporation can no, something is kept in a saucer, or sometimes volatile liquids also.
Hmm.
They evaporate. So that is the process of the
Okay.
liquid forming into the vapors, evaporation, with slightest difference. But here the specific context is provided, that is heating the liquid. All right. So it won't be evaporation; it will be vaporization. The process. So I think I like this particular question also. No, which makes it little difficult to demark the difference. All right, let's move further. Yeah, correctly answered by Sheila madam as well as Rohini and Manish. All right, it will be an element because we know no, the mixtures by physical methods can be separated, and the compounds can be decomposed by no, the chemical methods. But we know that the atom is the smallest indivisible particle of an element. So elements cannot be decomposed. All right. So therefore, the correct answer is to. So this is also, I like this question also because it is little tricky, and sometimes we are just lost in the comparison of the other responses, and we rule out the very the fact no, that are known to us. All right. So the correct response is to uh, question on physical and chemical changes. Angela and Rohini, the correct answer is right. 3, fermentation of cane sugar. Any response? Any reasoning for this? One of you can answer, because questions can also be asked on these physical and chemical changes. If you compare the other responses, somebody can unmute and just clarify.
Because it is an irreversible change.
Is this the reasoning, Rochelle, that it is irreversible? Only this? What is next? Why it is irreversible?
Because it does not go back to the initial state.
Maybe a
Yes,
new compound is formed.
because it is chemical. It's a chemical change,
Okay.
right? So, whereas remaining examples are that of a physical change, dissolution, glowing, or dissolution of resin. These are the examples of physical change, whereas the fermentation of cane sugar is the only chemical change which is listed over here. So, which is not a physical change. All right. Okay. Sorry. Yes, this one. And I want the explanation for your choice for this. Yes, Sheila, madam. We will ask you only. Yes.
Yeah.
D is the correct answer.
Saline water because uh, because water is neutral, and we say it does not really react with, even though it dissolves in it, it does not form any reaction. So that's the reason why saline water. The rest, mercury is, is a metal, sodium chloride is a compound, and carbon monoxide also is a. So saline water can go back to its on evaporation. You will get
Okay.
the two.
Thank you so much, Sheila, madam. Anybody else? Any other answer? What Sheila, madam has said, that is correct. But what is saline water if it is not element or compound? Because this is related to that content.
Mixture.
It's a mixture.
Okay. It's a solution. Saline water is a solution. Of course, it can be a true solution. It can be a suspension. It can be something if the undissolved impurities are there, as you are saying, mixture. All right, no, mixture is no the certain things which are no can be miscible or can be no immiscible as well. But basically, it is a solution. Whereas others are no either element or compound. All right. So that is the odd man out over here. Uh, let's move on to the last question of paper 1, which I have listed down over here. Then we will move on to the paper 2. Again, questions based on teeth. Yes, correctly answered. The answer is 3. That is, the canine roots are used for tearing purpose. All right. Now, uh, which are the teeth used for grinding, biting, and cutting?
Biting, cutting, incisors.
Yes, very right, Chila madam. And chewing and grinding, basically molars and
Molars and
premolars. Yeah,
premolars.
very correct. All right. So thank you so much. I hope you had a kind of a thinking exercise, and we drew attention to the kind of the topics where the factual information, a lot of factual information is necessary in order to answer these questions. Especially in paper 1, general science, as well as environmental studies. All right. So let's move further. You can score it by the time I'm displaying, because now we will have exercises, similar exercises on Now to the little higher level of content, and that is paper 2. uh, I have physics, chemistry, and biology separately. Since we have the time limitation, I will go a little faster. I'll just give you the hint, and then you, because certain exercises will require calculation of things. You can just note down your answer, and I will give you a hint probably, and then you can move ahead and note down the correct response if you really could get the response correctly. All right. So I have already mentioned the paper 2. There are 30 questions pertaining to physics, chemistry, and biology. So 10 questions each in the examination. Uh, I hardly found any questions related to pedagogy as such. A lot of questions are only pertaining to content. But sometimes something related to pedagogy also can be asked, but I have not come across. So these are the topics: uh, force, types of force, motion and motion types, pressure, work, energy. These are all concepts. So a lot of questions will be based on the conceptual understanding of all this. Simple machines, light, sound, magnetism, heat, questions related to reflection, refraction, mirrors, lenses, physical quantities, vectors, scalars, its units, electricity, and also the kinematic equations. No, a lot of numerical problems can be asked based on kinematic equations as well as the other physical quantities. All right. So let's take few exercises on physics. Now the difficulty level will be little higher. Now, in order to answer this question, anybody? Those who know the formula for calculating the frequency will be able to answer this. Uh, very right, Sheila madam. Thank you so much. So frequency is equal to number of vibration upon the time. All right. So you have to divide 40 oscillations by 2.5, the time taken. So it will give you the answer. So the correct answer is 16 hertz. All right. Let's move further. This is a tricky question. Yes, Simran correctly answers. Simran, why did you choose answer as 4? Give me the explanation.
So, because the mass is same no matter which planet.
Yes, exactly, correctly. It is talking about the mass which will remain unchanged. The difference between the mass and weight is applicable over here. So sometimes we just neglect or overlook what is mentioned in the question. All right. So the mass will remain the same. 12 kilogram will remain 12 kilogram. It is not talking about the no acceleration due to the gravity and its effect on weight. All right. Then only we do have some questions based on no, the gravitational effect also, and what is the differential weight no, on different planets. Such kind of questions can also be asked, but here it is not applicable. Here it is simply the trap. All right, so it will remain the same. Okay, let's move further. Okay, this is a very specific content based question. I will just tell you the correct answer. Why? Because the calculation will take time if you don't know the formula to calculate the power of the lens. The correct answer is 2. 100D Diopter is the SI unit of the power of the lens. So correct answer is 100T. You can note down and you can further refer the content and try to calculate it. So the correct response is 2. Let's move further because we have questions based on chemistry and biology also. This is a simplistic factual question. We just have to recall it. No thinking as such required here. Yes, Sweven, correctly answer. We know right hand thumb rule. All right. The correct answer is 1. Let's move further. Now, this question is based on the definitions of all these physical quantities. Yes, Rohini answered correctly. Electric charge per unit time is electric current. Anybody would make an attempt to define the other uh, electric power and electric resistance, if you can. All right, we will move ahead, but just I'm drawing your attention. So the questions can also be based on the definitions, the understanding of the concept. So this is conceptual based question. All right, which I have already. So no, I would suggest you list down the definitions and the concepts, and kind of keywords you can, in the beginning, which I have talked about, kind of a concept mapping or kind of listing down or the keywords, so you can have a comparative study when you list down the physical quantities associated with electricity, associated with magnetism or associated motion types, etc. And the keywords can be, so for preparation it will be helpful. All right, okay, so let's move further. Atmosphere plays a very important role, in the dispersion of light. And we know the even after the sunset we have the light illumination. So the correct response is 1. I think Rushel has corrected it over here. All right. Okay, so if there is no atmosphere, it will be decreased. All right, because I have already explained to you how the atmosphere, for the larger period of time, the light radiations are received uh, upon the Earth. All right. Okay, let's move further. Now this is based on kinematic equations. If you remember the kinematic equations, you can quickly solve. Those who are practicing teachers, they can solve it fatafat. And the right answer. I'll just give you a hint. You know the kinematic equation S is equal to ut plus half at square. Instead of acceleration, you can use g. So half gt square. S is equal to ut plus half gt square. Yes, Vivin, the correct answer is 4. All right, very good. 4.9 meters will be the correct response. Okay, let's move on. So you know that a lot of questions are based on kinematic equations as well, and the situation is given, and you have to solve it. Sorry, I came back again. Okay. Now this is simply based on the interconversion of units. Anybody? Kilometers per hour is converted into meter per second, SI unit. Uh, yes, Sheila madam, correct answer is 3. Okay, simply the factor of 3.6, you have to divide kilometers per hour by a factor of 3.6 and you will get the answer in meter per second. Okay, let's move further because we have a limited time in hand and still physics questions we have to address. Now this is based on the power, energy, not power, energy. And energy consumed is equal to the power of the bulb into the time, the usage. So it is P into T. But if you look at the answers, some answers are in kilowatt hour. So the conversion is required. Watt has to be converted into kilowatts. And if you do that, you will get the right response. Okay, I'm not spending time over here. The correct answer is 2. That is 1 kilowatt hour. Okay, this is factual question. Okay, so when you have answered correctly, it is less than 20 hertz is infrasonic. Between 20 and 20,000 hertz is the usual audible range, and about 20,000 is ultrasonic sound. All right, so you can revise your content on the sound and the facts related to sound as well. All right, okay, so the correct answer is 2. Let's move further. Very simple question based on resistances in series. I hope everybody will answer correctly. Yes, very correct. So you come across sometimes certain questions are very simple and you can instantly get answer and you save time over there, which you can utilize for some other tricky question where you have to read a lot. All right. Okay. Question on magnetism and electromagnetism. Yes, Granny, very correct that the electromagnets are used in electrical bells. All right. This is again a conceptual question. Yes, Veven and Valita correctly answered. Can you justify your answer?
Sir, since acceleration is change in velocity, so it will be increasing velocity.
Yes, very correct. Yeah, correctly answered and correctly justified also. So this is related to your understanding of the concept, and if you know the concept, then only you'll be able to know, answer this question. All right, let's move further. From optics or light, if you know the velocity of light, speed of light in a denser medium and in a rarer medium, in gas and in solids, you will be able to answer. Okay, so the correct answer here is 2, because we know that when no light passes from no air to no a kind of a solid like the transparent medium like glass, all right, its wavelength, its velocity decreases, all right, and once its velocity decreases, obviously we know the association with velocity of light is equal to wavelength into frequency, lambda f. C is equal to lambda f. If you know this relationship, you know obviously along with velocity, wavelength will also decrease. All right, because there is a direct correspondence, direct proportion. They are directly proportional to the wavelength, the velocity and wavelength. So this will be the correct answer. Let's
So
move
these,
further.
if
Yes.
you want to skip a few questions and go to next section, maybe we can do that
Yeah.
because time is really very limited.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll just display the questions and I'll move to the questions on chemistry as well as biology also, so that you can get a kind
Yes,
of
we can get
yeah. So the correct answer is 3 over here. This is again a tricky question, but the correct answer is 3. That is, it remains unchanged. It talks about the total energy of the object. Okay, so therefore total energy will always remain unchanged. Questions based on the defects, eye defects. So answer 1 is a correct one, where diverging lens or a concave lens and a converging lens, that is convex lens, we know it is used for the far sightedness, whereas here near sightedness, myopia, a diverging lens is used. I'm skipping few questions. This is based on the formation of image when the lenses are placed. Correct answer is 2. Simple question, electricity bill is paid for power. This is little tricky question, but the correct answer is 4. That is force. All right. Okay. We'll move on to the certain exercises in chemistry also. I'm drawing your attention to what kind of questions, no, or what topics it is asked. Matter, states of matter, substances, elements, compounds, mixtures, periodic table, especially atomic structure, acid base, chemical reactions, chemical bonding. You can take a screenshot. We'll move on to exercises directly. Again, wherever the calculation is involved, I might skip, but you can give me responses. You can note down the responses. Now, this is based on the mole concept. We can take few exercises for chemistry as well as biology instead of just skipping everything. Anybody? So in terms of gram, how many grams of hydrogen will correspond to how many grams of water? H2 corresponding to H2O. So the correct answer over here is 1, 90 grams. The simple correspondence, 2 grams will correspond to 18 grams of water. Because we know if we take the unit weight of no hydrogen, that is 1, no the atomic weight, then we know that oxygen will be having 16. So 2 plus 16 will give you 18 grams of water. So with that correspondence, you can calculate for 10 gram how many, and the correct answer is 90 grams. All right. This is simple factual question. Anybody can answer. Urea contains what? Yes, very correct. Nitrogen. Okay. Answer is 3. All right. This is conceptual question. I would want you to attempt it. Question can be based on isotopes and isobars. Any differentiation between the isotope and isobar? Somebody can answer that? What is an isotope and what is an isobar? Yes, Felicita.
Isotope will have the same atomic number, but different atomic mass numbers.
Okay.
And then like hydrogen, deuterium, and tritium will be example of isotopes.
So basically they are same element. Okay.
Yes.
And isobars?
Isobar would have the same atomic mass number and different atomic numbers. So maybe like calcium. Also any 3 elements that are together.
Yeah, so basically they are different elements. All right, so this is the conceptual difference that we. So what will be the correct answer over here? In case of deuterium, Brushel, you have answered 2. So if it is 2 protons present, will it be hydrogen or something else? It will become helium, right? So the correct answer over here is 3, that it is 1 electron and 2 neutrons. All right, you can work upon this little later by this difference. All right. Okay, so let's do questions. Question can be based on even the bond length. Okay, and here the correct answer is 4. We know that the difference is the covalent bonding and the electrovalent bonding. HCl is electrovalent bond, and therefore the pull of the bond strength. No, I'm not talking about the strength. I'm talking about the bond length. No, it will be less as compared to no other covalent bond, because the pull will be equal on both the sides. When we have the bond formed by the molecules like oxygen, nitrogen, or chlorine, because they have the same kind of electronegativity. All right, let's move further. Yes, I'll skip some questions, but definitely you can attempt certain questions which are simplistic. Here, Mg2 plus ion has how many electrons? Why such a delay? Yes, Rohini has correctly answered. Oh, no, I think Felicita has correctly answered, not Rohini. It is 1, that is 10. Explanation, Felicita?
12 electrons in magnesium. Since it is plus 2 means it has lost 2 electrons. So 12 minus 2 is 10.
Yeah, so atomic number, you are referring to the atomic number of magnesium, that is 12. All right, and so the 12 electrons already present in a magnesium atom, and when the 2 electrons are lost, it will form magnesium ion. All right, so question can be based on atoms, ions, compounds, radicals, etc. All right, let's move, take some more. This is the simple one. A series of elements are given, and if you look at their electronic configuration, you can make a choice, a quick choice. So these are all inert gas elements. If you look at the series, which one of the following is a covalent compound? The correct answer is 1, sugar. You know, common salt is NaCl, calcium chloride, magnesium oxide. These are all electrovalent compounds or ionic compounds. Correct formula. If you know the valency and the formation of radicals, then only you can be able to do it. So anybody for this? What is the valency of aluminium? Yes, Rohini, correctly answered. Valency of aluminium and valency of carbonate ion. Charge, and rather not valency of carbonate ion, but the charge rather on carbonate ion. Aluminium 3 plus and carbonate 2 minus. Yes, Rohini. So therefore 1 is the correct response. You can note down this question because this is based on the Avogadro's number, and no, you have to do a calculation for this. The correct answer is 1 over here. You can take a screenshot and solve it later on. The correct answer is 1. Okay, since it is already 11:30 and I know that these exercises takes time, and even sometimes when we talk about the content, what I will do, I'll just complete the display of Cinderella madam. Are you here?
Yes, sir.
So what we can do, I will share this exercise. All right. So probably they can do it themselves.
Yes, that
All
will be
right.
better. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sure.
Yeah, because see, I have already chosen the certain questions which are based on, because the biology we could not do, but I have 20 items. I will share this with you. All right, this presentation, and that exercise they can do later on. All
No
right.
problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so we can have 2-3 minutes probably if you have any kind of doubt or any kind of questions related to because we were talking about paper 2 where the questions are separately based on chemistry, biology as well as physics. So any doubts if you want to ask. I did have questions pertaining to biology also, which are again factual as well as conceptual.
Can
I
we
will
have
share.
5 questions for biology by the time?
Okay, I'll just display.
Yeah.
Is it visible? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes. Okay, so this question is based on the chemotropism, geotropism, etc. How the response of uh, living beings or the organisms or a particular organ towards the environmental factors based on the types of muscles and the organs. This is conceptual question. What does analogous organs have? Types of reproduction in living organisms. Uh, Factual question related to cell biology. Physiological processes. Now it is related to food, so exposure of food to the environmental factors. So this is related to food preservation. Classification of living organisms, plants and animals. Binomial classification. Questions based on that. Heredity and environment. This is again based on classification. A lot of questions I have seen based on plant and animal classification.
Yes, sir. Sunita, that should be fine, I think. Rest they can see on their own once the PPT is shared with them. Thank you so much. Okay, dear participants, if you have any questions to ask, you can quickly ask, sir.
Anything related to preparation, anything related to the pattern, or any lay question. I hope at least we have enjoyed. I think Sheila Madam was there with us, and she was enthusiastically participating all these exercises. And I know that the science content is so immense and so huge. Again and again, I'm emphasizing on that. So it is really very enjoying as well as and it is not simply for the qualification purpose, the professional qualification, but it will be also helpful in your teaching profession. Why? Because when I was looking at this question, sometimes you come across certain questions which are very simply fact based, and you understand when we have a lot of questions simply based on the factual information, it really requires a thorough reading and a content coverage, and we all are really not that much into the content. But at the same time, the conceptual level questions also, we have enjoyed certain questions which will really appeal to the thinking processes. So also look at when you are preparing your content from the evaluation point of view, because the very same questions it will be useful to you in your teaching profession when you are having the MCQ based test or otherwise also how which. So that's why no in the beginning the way I had the classification of knowledge into various levels, and how a particular question is addressing that particular level. So you can same way utilize it in your evaluation process also. You can have these exercises in the classroom also. So just don't look at the preparation for the TET, but it is also for the evaluation purpose as a part of your the profession. So I hope you have enjoyed. Yes, Joy, I will be sharing the entire with the answer so that you can have an exercise upon it. Because due to, and I was aware that probably due to time constraint, no, all these, it was very, what to be ambitious to list down. But you can, if you have scored so far, whatever questions we have taken, Can you total up and just check out what is your score for yourself? It is not a competition, just for yourself. How many you have answered correctly, and where you can still have a kind of a reading exercise. So thank you so much. If there are no questions, thanks a lot, Sheila madam, for your presence, online presence, and Cinderella madam for this organization. All
My
right.
pleasure. And I wishing all our students in this group here a very, very successful TET exam. Thank you, Cinderella, for this wonderful session, because it gives us a chance to come together. And Sunil, what can I say? You stole my word, my words. This 1.5 from 9:30 to 11:30, the time just flew, and it was so encouraging and so interesting. However, I want to say that in our scramble, we make a mistake and then we realize we make a and so thanks, Cinderella, and thanks, sir. It was a beautiful exercise,
It
and
was our pleasure, ma'am,
understanding how little I know.
to have you, and to have you as an enthusiastic student also, not as a teacher, but
Very
we
correct.
also enjoyed your company.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Sunil sir, first of all, for accepting our invitation and putting in so much efforts. I could see that through your presentation, and I really admire and appreciate all the efforts which you have taken to deliver this session so wonderfully. And I'm sure all our participants are going to benefit. Okay, only thing what I feel, Sunil sir, is they have their backgrounds in one of the subjects, like for science specifically. What happens, like chemistry, either they know very well or they know physics very well, depending upon their graduation subject. And of course, when they start teaching, but there is liking towards one particular field, and then other to suffer somewhere. I feel that's what I could see. Participants, you need to pay equal attention to all the subjects under the umbrella of science, I feel. Okay, so happy preparations, and we were happy to have you, Sunil sir. I request our student in charge to give a official vote of thanks. There are some comments also for you, sir, in the chat box.
Yeah, I'm reading. Uh, Thank you so much. Before the final closing, definitely I will share my PPT with Cinderella Madam with the wherever the explanation or the things are needed. I will add it in the the notes section, and so that you can work, because I know I was aware that probably everything cannot be completed in that. But what is required, that you have to have a kind of an individual exercise, and drilling and practice is what needed. As Cinderella madam has pointed out, that the other areas are missed out. If you are have a strong content of chemistry but not with physics and biology, maybe you have to read. What I would suggest, go through the textbooks. PDFs are available. Start with simply our SSC textbooks which are available, and then go for NCERT, even CBSE, where in-depth content is added, and start preparing, listing down in the beginning what I have already talked about. The material that you are going to prepare, no, it is not only just for this examination. It will be helpful to you even later in your teaching profession, and you can keep it the organization of the content into different levels. So kindly do that. All right, so I will be sharing all this with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for very useful tips also, Sunil. Very useful tips you have given them. So I'm sure they will benefit a lot through this session. Over to you, Richa.
Thank you, ma'am. As all good things come to an end, so does this session. On behalf of St. Teresa's Institute of Education, I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this event organized by our institute. At the outset, I thank our chief guest and resource person, Dr. Sunil Rajputkar. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. Words are not enough to tell you how this session is going to help us in not only clearing the MH-TET examination, but also in teaching science. We are thankful to our Honorable Principal, Dr. Sister Tanuja Wagmare, for her constant motivation and her enthusiastic support. A special thanks to our teacher, Dr. Cinderella De Mello, for organizing this event, which is going to help us all in clearing our MH-TET exams and becoming great teachers. I would also like to thank our teaching and non-teaching staff for their unflinching support and coordination. Last but not the least, a big heartfelt thanks to Sheila ma'am and all the participants who helped in making this session a huge success. Thank you.
Thank you so much once again.
Thank you. Thank you for everything, Sunil. Thank you. With this, we end the session. Okay, we have taken 10 minutes extra, so sorry for that. And we will meet again now in the afternoon at 3 p.m. We have Marathi session. Humble request to all of you to please be there. Okay, because most of us have lost touch with Marathi. So it's going to be very enlightening session, and that is a compulsory paper or subfield in your MH-TET. You need to know. Okay, Ma'am Joan will be taking the session. So I request all of you, I will also post on group to attend that session from 3 to 4:30. Same link will be there. I will again post it on the group. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. We will end the session now. Thank you. Thank you, Sunil sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Thank you,
Cinderella.
ma'am.